So, after several moments of relative silence, the group arrives into the main audience chamber. And those of you who have any items left from Snowdawn, do you choose to deposit them?
None left.
You said I didn't have to return the gold, right?
The what?
The gold.
And I believe that was to cover various expenses.
Yeah.
I don't think you were borrowing the gold. It's the magic items you were borrowing.
You're
Yeah.
basically throwing that gold away to charity.
Well, throwing it away.
Yeah,
Don't
it's
pretend
charity.
like you have any of that left.
Alright. And after several moments, a servant comes out. Who... a couple of you came with several prisoners. Who was that?
At what point was this?
This is after several moments. The group has more or less arrived in the main audience chamber, and after several moments of being there, a servant has entered the chamber and is looking at the group, unsure of who to address, and sort of says that to the group and says that to the general group.
I didn't take prisoners.
I sent all those to Vesper's house.
So, that would be me. And Sai.
Very good.
Then we got here.
Should I?
Yes.
Then yes.
Yes. Madams, I wanted to inform you that the prisoners you've brought to us are doing well. None of them seem to be of terrible, or at least physically injured. Several of them are, well, convinced that House Baugh is a subversive element and, well, to be blunt, should be eradicated.
We should actually.
Sounds like them.
We should talk about this. Apparently, they have been doing some sort of re-education involving House Spa.
You mean like brainwashing?
Yes.
Yes.
And several of the prisoners are convinced that House Baugh isn't actually, well, it's torn between usurpers, not actually noble blood, and don't have any right to rule over reindeer, or rain for that matter. And a couple of them are convinced that House Baugh should be, well, as I mentioned, eradicated.
This is all brainwashing.
I just realized you should. They definitely went and got that reindeer out of those stocks, right?
Yeah, no, I
Right?
specified. I asked about this, like, literally the night of that.
Okay.
And I answered, I assumed you guys had, knowing the disposition
I
of
mean,
it.
we were freeing a bunch of prisoners in that one room. Do you
And then
think
you
we
just
would
left.
forget that one way over there?
Yeah, I figured given the characters' dispositions, they wouldn't have accidentally left that one behind.
You also took that cow with you, right?
The
one
warden,
that-
yeah.
Oh,
Yes, we actually did take the warden.
The one that's like, don't tell anybody I surrendered.
And then tries to backstab.
And
Everybody's gonna know that she surrendered.
so I felt it prudent that we should report. The family, it's the family Snowdawn is busy at the moment. But
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Thought I heard my name being shouted for a second, but someone just watching TV.
Oh, see.
No, my IRL name.
Yeah, OC.
You're not OC?
I am the OG OC, thank you.
OG!
There you go. OG is best pony. That's what I should have picked for my name.
Too late.
Oh well. What could have
Never
been?
too
There's no
late.
retconning this.
Yes, I cannot rewrite time.
Okay,
You can
but
only retcon necromancy.
what? Oh yeah, how dare you?
How dare?
Yeah, is Speak with Dead on the banned list? That's obviously what happened down there.
I think it is on the banned list.
Oh no.
I do believe it is. Oh, also,
We can't. We can't
But
go
the
up to
anti-
Noah and ask, "What the heck were you doing there?"
But the
I-
anti-murder mystery spell is the best one.
I believe, is there a Miss Corvine Winterblood in your company? Is one of you her?
So I have motions over to Corvine.
Yes. Your father appears to be relatively well despite our initial cautions. If you wish to visit him, you may do so.
Despite their cautions.
Yes, he spited their cautions. He was like, I'm just fine. Sir, you have a hole in your chest. I'm fine.
Also, he turns towards Vesper. Might I presume we should clear a guest room for you? I haven't received any orders, but knowing the disposition of our masters and your current state, might I presume you'll be staying with us for a few days, Master Iris?
I have spoken to it to Andreas. That would be most kind of you.
All right,
Make it
we'll.
two,
Of course,
of course.
of course.
A horse is a horse, of course.
Of course.
Forgive me for asking. One bed or two?
Just
One.
one will do.
Very good then.
A queen size.
No.
It's a
If
twin.
you'll excuse me.
Not a princess-sized bed, but a
Do I
queen-sized
look
bed.
like a princess to you?
I'm not upset that you drew me as a
No,
girl. I'm upset that you didn't recognize I'm a mother queen.
I'm a mother-hugging queen.
Yeah, sorry, Queen and King size beds were banned from Reign because they don't want royalty.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, sorry.
They're Duke and Duchess sized beds.
The servant then nods. If you wish to see your father, Miss Winterblood, it's simply down the hall, up the set of stairs, third door to the left, and then the door at the end of the hallway.
Corvine immediately starts heading that way.
They shake and process those directions.
She turns one corner. I'm lost.
And
She's a noble, she'll get it.
and Master Iris, the chambers will be preparing for you. You've been in previously. You should be able to find the way easily enough.
Thank you.
With that, he bows and leaves. So the question is anybody going to run off with Corvine, or are you guys letting her?
I'm staying here.
Fair enough.
Actually, Sai is going to go with Corvine.
Plot twist.
Gosh. And Baiguang, what are you up to?
Baiguang is curious about True Heart, so I guess he'll follow after Corvine as well. Since they have not met as far as I would figure. Oh my.
I appreciate the fact that I misspelled embarrass. That was not intentional.
No.
All right, so the two of you fall after Corvine.
Man.
All right, Corvine. The directions are well fairly simple, and when you get in there, you see your father lying on a bed. He seems to be sort of half
Actually,
conscious.
I'm going for two. Spoilers.
What?
I'm following along because I might as well.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Fair enough.
Don't miss out on anything.
Since we're here, are you going as well, Vesper?
I'll just follow Dandy.
All right then.
Okay, everyone's going.
All right.
Conga line, here we go.
After
Slow down.
when you get there, you see, what appears to be a nurse looking over your father, and he looks up at the group, nods. He's walks over to, looks at the group. Miss Winterblood?
Oh, the nurse? Or
Yeah, the nurse is looking up questioningly looks up at Corvine, and then sort of looks behind her. And then looks at her questioningly. Miss Corvine?
yes?
Okay. He stands up and sort of like gives your father a reassuring pat.
Yeah. She
He's-
play.
He's still recovering. You are free to talk to him, but please, simply remain calm. Excitement is not a good thing for him to experience at the moment. But take as long as you need. When you're done, I'll be just outside the door. Or if you should anything, I'll be just outside the door.
Okay.
Nods. And he looks again behind her. And I presume these are your friends?
She nods.
Right.
Hey,
And he pardons himself as he goes through. And then shuts the door carefully. And Trueheart turns his head over and looks at Corvine. Corvine. Oh. Is that really you?
She nods.
Come closer, please.
She steps slightly closer.
That's hardly closer.
Jump on the bed.
Hop
Come.
on pop.
I want to see your eyes.
Well, I want explanations.
He lets out a heavy sigh as his demeanor sort of changes. I take this isn't going to be a friendly reunion, is it?
Hmm. She steps closer.
He looks up at her. I already told you that your eyes remind me of your mother.
A few times.
I was so angry when you left. Tore the estate apart. Sent guards after you, bounty hunters, anything to get you to come back home, and next thing I know, you're hauling me out of a prison. Life is funny, isn't it?
She nods. But about that, what made you think it was a good idea to put a bounty on me?
Your aunt scolded me pretty good for it. I was so worried about you, Corbin. I was desperate. I wasn't thinking.
You wanted me to come back. I understand. But I'm assuming you know why I left.
He looks up at her. Maybe. Tide told me I was being too protective of you and you just ran away because you couldn't handle it anymore. He looks behind her and signals for her to get close.
She does.
He whispers in her ear, "Do they know?"
She nods.
He sort of closes his eyes and leans his head back in a pained expression.
It's not at all what you feared.
Excuse me, you're Corvine's friends, I assume?
Yep. We know her secret.
Does it not bother you?
Not really. She
He's
just
a- Go ahead.
she just eats like a dog does, and we love those back where I come from.
Sai does not comment.
Corvine glances to Dandy like
She
a
eats
little
like a
offended.
dog. Right out of the bowl.
What'd you say, Bagwong?
I was just gonna say it was a surprise, but that's all it was.
I see. But still, if the wrong Englets found out, Corvin, I did all that to protect you.
I know.
I wouldn't be able to continue on if I had lost you.
Which is why we need some rules.
Which is why I need to tell you something.
Yes.
Did you still have your mother's rapier?
She unsheaths it and holds it out. Like sideways. Like as if she's displaying it to him. Or
I
brandishing
never
it.
told you this, Corvine, but over the years I've visited your mother's family from time to time. He looks up at her. With eyes, they essentially say, "I'm so..." Corvine. Know that I always love you and I always will.
She nods.
That blade should have killed you.
What?
Your family, your mother's family, I later found out, carries a terrible curse. The firstborn child of every union is, well, what you are. And they slay that child.
Corvine's looking very shocked.
Dandy also looks kind of disgusted.
With that blade.
Sai's cold stare is now actually a look of shock.
You knew?
Only after you were born.
You never
Other years later.
You never told me.
What did you want me to tell you? You were too young. You wouldn't have been able to handle that. And your mother died giving birth to you, and you were all that I have had. Everything I've had, I've loved you for, and when I found out, I was horrified. I haven't been back to their estate since I found out, but Corvine,
What?
sorry. If I could, I would change all of this, but if I had known, I still would have loved your mother. And there's no way in the hold I would have allowed you to be killed. Predator or no?
I'll have to think about this.
I understand.
Thank you for finally telling me the truth.
I guess you're all grown up now, and I guess it was time to tell you. He sort of leans back. Corwin, come here. I want to give you a hug. I missed you so sorely. I'm so sorry for the way I treated you over the years.
She hugs him and starts like crying into him.
So if I understand correctly, it appears that it appears everyone's left into the hallway.
Yeah,
Um,
I only left right when they hugged.
Okay. Now that you're all in the hallway, do any of you wish to say anything?
And
That's rough.
hello.
Sorry, one at a time. Midnight, you first. What'd you say?
Unbelievable.
And Dandy, what did you say?
That's rough. They basically gave her a guillotine.
So it really comes to this now. I have never heard of anything like this. Never read about anything like this. I don't. This is. Even for, say, any predator, any adult, a newborn, that's not right.
Never thought I'd hear you say that, to be honest.
But do you really see no compassion in me?
Nope.
I mean, I thought that was what you were going for.
It's just. It's not deadly when it's a child.
I mean,
Yes, it could be.
yeah, that's
In
what I
the
was trying
future.
not to say. And I would think that you would be the one saying, "Oh yeah, get them while they're young," but that's what I expected you to say, to be honest.
That's despicable. And I despise whoever thinks that way.
Bai Guang also thought that of Sai, and he is wisely keeping his mouth shut.
Is what?
Mouth shut. Baiguang is withholding his words.
Yeah, Bai Guang assumed the same thing that Dandy was thinking, but he's not saying anything.
I
Now,
see.
now that Sae has corrected Dandy.
Is there anything else you want to add to that?
What? No, I was just surprised about. That's all. I misjudged you.
But because I have been trying to kill every predator in sight thus far? Well, even that one time.
What did you gonna say, Dandy?
Look, I agree with you. That's the bottom line.
And since we're here, Vesper, is there anything you wish to say to weigh in on this situation?
He doesn't know Sae well enough to be a judge on her character.
Fair enough.
He only met her one time when she jumped to his house.
Well, someone jumped her to the house.
No, she was escorted to the house.
That means there's someone else who knows.
Everyone knows Vesper's address. It's public
No.
knowledge. It's on the streets in great big glowing neon sign.
It's the only house on
Come
the
to
street.
Vesper.
It's the main.
It's a
main attraction.
it's a mandatory like piece of knowledge. If you're gonna live in raid,
Who's gonna maintain the house while we're staying here?
like before
All
little
the people
reindeer
going
children,
to, like, an empty house.
before little
They
children
can't-
even know how to say their name, they can recite Vesper's address.
They can't get through the basement door, it's locked.
Getting into house is different, but everybody knows where he lives and how to get there.
Needs to teleport his house somewhere else.
You need some sort of moving castle.
Oh.
A castle in the sky.
Vesper's moving castle.
That works too.
It's a mobile fortress. It's all
But not an instant fortress.
Well, is there anything anybody else wishes to add or say anything about the current conversation, be it Sae's character or the revelation of Corvine's heritage?
Sae is a character.
I meant
So
This
is
is true.
Corvine.
I built a character.
Is anybody wants to speak on? Anyways,
I'm just curious if Sai has any reaction to Saihong coming out of hiding under her cloak to return to Bangkok.
Actually, Sai doesn't, but Serica does.
Ah.
Who was in the middle of trembling pretty much most of the time under the cloak. And while Kaihong was there, she was not, and now she's trembling again.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
But what if no?
Sorry.
All the small creatures.
That's all Danny says is like, sorry. Just hope Corvine's okay.
Sai nods to both.
all right. It sounds to me like things have mostly concluded. Is there anything anybody else wants to do before we basically call it session?
Hmm.
Oh, just to make sure this gets in while we're still recording.
Oh, I click.
Oh.
Oh no. Well, that's not going to show up on the.
Yeah, that doesn't show up.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to edit it in.
I can
You
fix
gotta
it
do
in
it.
the edit.
Do it.
All right. Then in
But
yes, Corvine.
Fire. Dandy always liked the fire in his eyes.
I'm not sure this has to be done in character, but she's gonna tell True Heart that she's not gonna leave again.
Okay.
And then she walks out.
We're just going
And she walked out.
She's never
I'll
going to give
never-
him up.
I'll never leave your side again. That said, see you later.
Yes, and she walks out and she's like, Vesper, teach
Never
me
gonna
how
run
to
around
summon
and
a
desert
familiar.
Right.
All right.
Magic lessons.
Magic lessons, no.
Me, lessons now.
I mean, if you want, we could RP that scene real quick.
Okay.
We won't worry too much about the conversation between Trueheart and Corvine at the moment.
So instead it will be the Vesper part.
Well, suffice to say that I don't actually feel right skipping over it. I really don't. So we'll just go ahead back into the bedroom.
Okay.
What does Dandy have to say about that?
Oh no.
When's the scene with Dandy and Vesper in the bedroom?
So anyways, all right, so after several moments have passed with, well, probably both of them at this point are openly weeping. Trueheart sort of lifts Corvine a little bit to look at her. Corvine.
Yes.
I don't want you to ever go again.
I won't.
He
Not
shakes
again.
his head. You must.
She looks shocked at him again.
I
Get out of here.
should not have kept you locked into the house all those years. I should not have hid you away from the world the way I did. I still do not think it's wise that you tell everybody what you are. I don't know exactly what you are. But
Doesn't matter.
well, it's just if the wrong people find out, they'll try and kill you.
She nods.
Remember, Corvine, the predators are trying to come back. Everyone is on edge, and if the wrong people hear, they might think they're already here, and at least until Velvet seals them away, you should probably keep a low profile, at least about that fact. But never, he looks up at her, never be ashamed of who or what you are.
Dandy calls from the room. It's gonna be Palm.
Quiet you.
Bai Guang is just shaking his head in disbelief.
Because obviously it'll be a Tian rule.
Obviously.
Too bad the unicorns didn't send a representative, right?
No, they did.
As
No.
darn
They
isolationists.
sent the darkest one of them.
No, they didn't send anybody.
It was like a prison sentence from what I hear.
Well,
No, that was what happened to Paprika. Oleander
I don't
and Fred
think
went
Oleander
to
just
their own
left.
volition.
I think.
Yeah, I know. Leanne just left. I was just being.
Yep. So sad. The unicorns don't have a representative,
Well,
as
the
far
unicorns
as
don't
anyone
care.
knows.
Yeah, but that's because the unicorns are dumb.
Well, remember, the unicorns, at least in the book of lore, more intentionally
Yes.
are ignoring the world outside. Like
Yeah,
they strip, like
exactly.
Well,
As well
also
as they're
they
isolationists.
they wrote it off as the light will save everyone, so it doesn't matter. Right?
Yeah, because it would.
Well, I
The
don't-
light saved everyone before the thing happened, right?
Yeah.
well, I don't
It's
think
about
that.
the light, Vesper.
I don't even think that's like addressed. Truth be told, I think they just straight up like they just either don't know or don't care,
like
or
they-
they're just like not us, not our business.
They-
I'm
They
pretty
don't
sure
believe.
it says specifically that they're like, oh no, the light will protect the important stuff, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well,
They- It'll continue to protect us like it always has.
I think by important stuff they meant them.
Themselves, yes.
Yeah,
No.
basically.
They'll-
Now, that all said,
They're in the
But I
middle of
think-
something.
but I think, Corvine, you must find your place in this world. If it's the family business, then we of course will welcome you with open hooves. But if it's elsewhere, then he laughs and smiles a bit. Did you know your mother eloped from her family to be with me? She and I ran away together one night. Her family didn't have a clue. We were so
That's-
young and foolish.
That's nice. I kind of figured that from the fact that you wouldn't tell me about her family. But the rest
I-
of it's
I just knew they were. He suddenly gets like a almost horrified look on his face. He looks over at her. Then he kind of looks off a little bit in shame. I became just like them.
no, no.
Ishak said they wouldn't let her leave the estate. They refused to allow her to go outside except under strict supervision. So, looks up at her and smiles. She ran away. She ran away with a foolish young man. I guess reindeer.
Buck.
Young buck.
Young buck.
There we go.
Yes,
A
that's
foolish
fine.
young buck. And then the greatest, most wonderful thing in my life that ever happened to me. He reaches out to her and sort of affectionately pats her.
Oh.
But go, Rhine. I'll be fine here. When I've recovered, I'll return to the business. The family estate will always be open to you, of course.
I'll be back. I promise.
He nods. Of course, if you always want to talk, I'll be here for a while at least.
She nods her head and starts walking out.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna just take a nap for a while. Send the nurse in, would you?
Okay. She opens the door, looks at the nurse, and
Have you concluded?
She nods her head and starts nudging her head back towards the door.
The nerd nods and makes his way past her. Thank you. I think it did him a lot of good. Don't worry, he'll be fine.
I hope so.
And with that, he enters the room and closes the door behind him.
Sai's actually going to approach Corvine and place a hoof over her. Not saying anything. What are you expecting?
Expecting a tender moment?
Thank you.
How is he doing?
He's doing fine. A little sorrowful, but I think he'll make it out okay.
The condition is at least better than when we found him.
She nods.
This is good.
She turns to Vesper. I think I need something to take my mind off this for now. You remember when I asked you to teach me magic?
Of course.
I would like to start on that.
I'd be happy to. If you don't mind waiting until tomorrow. I don't exactly have all my faculties with me currently.
No, teach
He'll
me
only
now.
be able to teach you first level spells.
No, he can
Cantrips
teach you
first.
higher levels. It just costs money.
All right,
Pay
and
off.
I think that's actually a decent note to end session on. But of course, right before, is there anything anybody want to say before we do?
Vesper falls asleep.
Right there.
Asleep on his
Dandy also
heels.
falls asleep.
Right there.
Yeah, horses can sleep standing up.
Yeah, that's right. Horses can sleep.
That this
But
is
not
where
me.
the
Some servants come along
this is
and
where that one this is actually the context where that one piece of art came from.
Which one?
One of Dandy and well, actually no, Vesper just looks awake.
a servant
Counting
comes along
Vesper's
and
one.
a servant comes along with a broom and sort of sweeps them off into a bedroom.
They roll away like tumbleweeds under the
That's
power
my
of the broom.
teacher.
All right, so I take it that nobody has anything particular they want to say or do before.
Doesn't seem like
Not within the
anyone wants
session
to anymore.
itself.
All right, fair enough. Then we'll go ahead and call session there.